Good evening and welcome to the Varsity Sports Show, Coaches Show, the HJCAC Coaches Show at the Angry Crab Shack. I'm Olivia Prickett alongside Doug Santo, and we are going to be recapping a few games that were happening this weekend, and we're going to hear from one coach and one player from the Gila River Hawks. So, Doug, what is the HJCAC?
Yeah, so if you didn't know much about the HGCAC, in 2018, the Maricopa County Community College District eliminated football for their 4 schools, and so a group came together and created this nonprofit Athletic Advancement Association of America, which returned to JUCO football. They created the Hjcac Junior College Athletic Conference, and this name pays homage to the state of Arizona and the large Native American communities within Arizona. The Hjcac roughly translates to those who came before. This is to represent the coaches who work tirelessly to develop academic and athletic opportunities for the student athletes involved in this club JUCO football.
Yeah, this HJCAC, kind of formation it allows junior college players to get exposure and just more opportunity to play at the next level, which I think is just so cool. Every athlete, regardless of what level they're at, deserves an opportunity. So I think it's a really cool thing that the HJCAC was formed.
Absolutely. Yeah. And going off of that, I was reading more about it, and really I didn't even know about this until we were going to call the game, and getting to learn about it. It's just a really cool league so that these JUCO players are able to play football, and as you said, get an opportunity to reach that next level, get to those 4-year universities, and be able to play college football at that level, to be able to provide a potential future in the sport for them.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go into that recap of our game of the week, right?
Yeah.
And what game was that?
We did color and play-by-play for the Salt River Scorpions against the Gila River Hawks on Saturday night at Campo Verde High School. So, Nick, what was kind of the first half recap?
Yeah, so it was the Gila River Hawks versus the Salt River Scorpions, and the game started off a little slow, a couple punts from each team to start, but then the Scorpions got on the board first, went down, scored a touchdown, went up 7-0. And then on the ensuing kickoff, they tried an onside kick, but the Gila River Hawks, they were ready for it, they recovered it, and on that first play from scrimmage after that onside kick, they threw a touchdown. They elected to go for 2, failed the conversion, so it was 7-6 at that point. And then in the second quarter, they were able to get a safety. The Scorpions were doing a punt back in the end zone. The punter, it kind of dribbled back to him. He fumbled it out of bounds, so the Hawks got a safety there to go up 8-7. Then they were able to sneak in another touchdown before the half to take a 14-7 lead into halftime.
Yeah, so in the second half, but throughout the first half, the Gila River Hawks, had possession of the ball majority of the time. They were going into that second half really hot. So like you said, they were going into the second half 14-7. And then the Scorpions were able to score 2 touchdowns, which really kind of tested the Hawks' defense and, kind of not really threw them off their tracks, but really, put up a good game. And then in the fourth quarter, Gila responded by scoring 2 touchdowns and winning the game 26-20. And one player of the game that we're actually going to be talking to later is quarterback Jerry Keltner, who had an outstanding performance that night. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just a little bit more about that game. Both teams came in. The Hawks had played 1 game on the season. The Scorpions had played 2. Both teams came in 0-1 and 0-2, and so that was the first win for the Gila River Hawks, and it was a big win for them. We're going to talk with Coach Kane coming up after the break here, and then we'll talk with their quarterback, Jerry Keltner. But they talked about just the team chemistry trying to come together, and they obviously were able to come together and get that win. But, yeah, after the break, we're going to have their star quarterback who had a fantastic performance leading them to that win. And then later on, we'll talk with Coach Kane as well.
Yeah.
So stick around here on the Varsity Sports Show for the HJCAC Coaches Show at the Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Stick around.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Hi, this is Kaylee Sumner with. Hi, this is.
Hello.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road. 480
This is Marco Scott from the Varsity Sports Show. Hope you guys are all doing well.
The Angry Crab Shack
Today
in
I'm here
Tempe. Come ready to eat. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, HJCAC Coaches Show at the Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. I am joined with head coach of the Gila River Hawks, Larry Kane. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. I just have a couple of questions for you. And first, I'm going to start off with, you guys were able to execute very well against the Scorpions on Saturday night. And you said that the chemistry was present when it mattered the most when I interviewed you post-game. How does it feel? How do you feel as a coach when the chemistry is there?
It feels great. It feels like I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I think chemistry is the most important part of the game. And when you have chemistry, you can get anything that you want done. So that is something, when you have a lot of athletes like we do, building chemistry, it definitely takes time.
Right. So next question. Your quarterback, Jerry Keltner, who we're going to be talking to later, he had an amazing performance. What growth have you seen from him throughout the season pretty early on?
With Jerry, we've seen a lot of growth. You got to think this time last year, he was playing 8-man football at Mojave Accelerated.
Yeah.
And you got to think, there's a lot of difference in 8-man and 11-man when it comes to the passing game. So
Yeah.
he's really taken the time and the effort and put the effort in the classroom, learning the difference between, coverages. And that's not an easy thing for an 18-year-old to learn that's never had to
Yeah.
really face that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You mentioned working on the little things in practice, and when Doug and I were calling the game on Saturday night, we noticed how you guys went for the 2-point conversion rather than kicking. What is the motive behind that decision? Is it something that you've stressed in practice, or is it just something that you feel more comfortable as a team right now?
As of right now, just something we feel more comfortable doing. Again, with us having so many different athletes and being able to use them so many different ways, we just feel, only having to gain 2 yards and us being able to stretch the field from sideline to sideline is just a benefit for us.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's something you don't see often, and I just thought I'd ask that question because it's so unique.
Yeah.
So you said you were excited to see if you guys could play as a team in the the pregame interview I did with you, and the team was able to do just that, because you were just so proud of their ability to play together. What do you see in the future for this team?
I see us getting better every week, and this week we play Papago, and we're going to have a great it's a huge challenge in front of us just because they're going to be as loaded with talent just as much as we are.
Yeah.
Coach Stroh is one of the best coaches that I've ever coached against and coached with for a little bit. So I'm excited for us to just see if we can pick up where we left off Saturday night and not have, we have 4 or 5 days of practice.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that there's not a void to kind of get it going again, because as you saw in the first couple drives, we were kind of stagnant.
Yeah. No, you guys did an amazing job, like, holding possession of the ball. And yeah, I mean, with the team you have right now, I'm pretty confident you guys are going to go out and do amazing things.
Well, thank you. I hope so. You know,
Yeah.
we have great players that work hard,
Yeah.
you know, that are definitely competitors, and it shows that, you know, and
Yeah.
it showed that on Saturday night, just because there's a lot of ups and downs, and, you know, going down by one score, the game, you know, the momentum went up and down. So
Yeah.
that game could have gone either way.
True. So going into the second half, you guys were leading by 7 after scoring a touchdown with a little under 3 minutes left in the second quarter. And like I said, you had possession of the ball majority of the second quarter. What was working so well in your offensive and defensive line?
Well, I think, again, it just comes to chemistry, you know, and we have a great center in Stephen Williams. He came to us just recently, and he's taken real ownership. And we had really good snaps, something we had struggled with, you know, not only our first game of the season, but all of last year.
Yeah. Okay, so lastly, with 4.5 minutes that you had left in the fourth, Chris Harvey was able to find all of the gaps in the Scorpions' defense to tie up the game. Now, what was going through your head in that moment as a coach?
Before he got the touchdown or after he got the touchdown?
Both?
I was definitely nervous just because we had lost some of the momentum since halftime.
Yeah.
And the momentum was definitely on Salt River side, so we were looking for a big play and something just to get us there and get us going. And then Chris caught that pass, and, you know, when he caught it, you knew he was going to score because he was on a mission.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Coach. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the HJCAC Coaches Show at the Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. We will be back with an interview with the quarterback of the Gila River Hawks after the break.
Hi, this is Kaylee Sumner with Varsity Sports Show, and I'm going to be talking about Arizona Christian Honors West Valley High School basketball team during championships. Arizona Christian men's basketball team faced St. Catherine's out of California at home Friday at 6 p.m. in the first round of the NAIA tournament. It is the second year in a row that the ACU is hosting the first 2 rounds at home. At 3 p.m. on Friday, the winning scores against the 2 teams, Antelope Valley of California scored 26 out of 4, or 26 and 4. They played against Indiana Heritage, which was 21 and 9. So that's the score that they got for the game. Followed by ACU, they scored 23 out of 7 against St. Catherine's 23 to 8. Thank you so much for having me. This is Kaylee Sumner with the Varsity Sports Show. Out.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, the HJCAC Coaches Show from the Angry Crab Shack here in Tempe this evening. I'm here with Gila River Hawks quarterback Jerry Keltner. And Jerry, how are you feeling tonight?
Feel good, honestly, yeah.
So let's get into talking about the game. So You've had a couple days now after the win, your guys' first win of the season. What does that win feel like?
Feels great, like I said. Yeah, it was a great team win. Shout out to my teammates. They did really good that entire game. My defense held it down. My receivers, they were just doing really good. Put me in that position to get them the ball and they could go make some plays,
Yeah. And so, talking about that game, you got the ball with just over 6 minutes left, down 6 in the fourth quarter. Crunch time, needing a touchdown to tie the game. What was going through your mind when you headed out onto the field for that offensive possession?
Well, being the quarterback, you got to keep a clear head. Not every throw is going to be perfect, but you just got to keep your heads, good, and then you just got to make plays, honestly. Trust your guys. They're going to make a play for me. So that was going through my head. I trust my guys.
Yeah, and trusting your guys, it worked out. You guys go down, get the touchdown to tie the game, and then with just over 6 minutes left, you guys get the ball back. Tie game now, 20-20, needing a score, not to tie the game this time, but to win the game. Is there any difference in mindset there? Is there more nerves, less nerves, more excited, anything?
More excited, honestly, because now I have a chance to put my team ahead and win the game. So I was more excited, honestly, yeah. So it was a good feeling.
Yeah, and you talked after the game on Saturday. We talked to you. You talked about how your offensive line created everything for you, giving you protection and stuff. With those guys being so important to you as the quarterback, how much trust do you have in them, and how is that built throughout the season?
I trust those guys with my life. We go out there, battle with each other every day, every game. We do all that, so I gotta trust them fully in order to be able to make plays. Because without them, can't do anything.
Yeah, and going off of that, Coach Kane talked about team chemistry a lot. He talked about how you guys have been working on that, and then he talked about how he was impressed with when you needed to, that chemistry was there, you guys came together. What did you think of the team chemistry Saturday night?
Really good. We went into the locker room, we were all happy. We bonded, honestly, and it felt good, yeah.
And then now heading into next week, you play Papago. They've been doing good this season. You guys coming off your first win. I would imagine that's a boost of confidence. Where is your confidence level, and what's your guys' mindset going into the game?
I don't want to get too cocky. I got to stay humble. But my mindset is just to get another win, honestly. Trust my guys once again, and we're all going to ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is your first year with the Gila River Hawks. How has it been like getting to know your teammates, growing, getting to know your coach and everything?
Good, yeah. My teammates are really funny. They're some of my favorite people, honestly. They all have such a unique character to me. And my coach, he's just a great guy to me. He's been watching me since I've been in high school, and he's trusted me. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And we saw a lot of families out at the game Saturday night. Do you get to see your family come out to those games, and what does it mean to you to see all the family out there and just a cool atmosphere at the games?
Well, my dad's been going to every single game since I was a kid, so without seeing him at my game, I don't think I'd be right. But it's just seeing my family there just boosts my confidence way more because I know I could ball in front of them and make them proud, especially in front of my mom and my sister and everybody. Just everybody, it means so much to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then last question for you. You had 3 total touchdowns Saturday night. Being a leader of the offense, what responsibility comes with that? But also, you talk about trusting in your teammates to you getting them the ball, them having success from there. What does all that kind of mean to you?
Just get them the ball, yeah. It means a lot to me, being able that they're going to be able to trust me to get them the ball, so yeah.
Absolutely. Really appreciate you guys for watching. Once again, this is Gila River Hawks quarterback Jerry Keltner here at the HJCAC Coaches Show for the Varsity Sports Show from the Angry Crab Shack. I'm Douglas Santos. Stick around, and we'll have more after the break.
Hello, everybody. My name is Sabir Abdushahid. I'm reporting from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at Temple University right here in the city of brotherly love. As we can see that the city is always in great spirits of football, and this week is no different. We have the Philadelphia Eagles along with Jalen Hurts play against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. We have seen both challenges from both teams prior to this game, as it both have resulted in 2-1 for their record. The question that's on everybody's mind, especially the Eagles fans, is will A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith be able to come back and will return for this game or any games in the near future for our franchise with the Eagles. They both have very, very grand risk of injury, and they both have been injured in the past. And this matchup and this week will be very interesting to see how Jalen Hurts will maneuver with not even his two most weaponized people within the field. We also have a new center who's going to also have to show out and show off as he always should be, as Jason Kelce has retired. We have seen that the Eagles have clutched a win against the New Orleans Saints last week with Hurts throwing for 311 yards and Saquon Barkley getting 2 touchdowns within this game. And we can see that this has been a very big adjustment for the Eagles, as they do not have A.J. Brown this season so far yet. But they had Devontae Smith, but he got injured, unfortunately, during the New Orleans Saints game. As we always say, fly, Eagles, fly. This is Sabir Abdul-Shahid reporting from Philadelphia, right here, right now at Temple University. And until then, I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show for the HJCAC Coaches Show from the Angry Crab Shack out here in Tempe. I'm Douglas Santo alongside Olivia Prickett, and you just got to hear 2 awesome interviews from the Gila River Hawks head coach and then their star quarterback, Jerry Keltner. And now we're going to talk about one of the other games from last week. One of our other games of the week was between Maricopa and Papago. Maricopa ended up winning that game 31-7. Pretty domination fashion over Papago. Maricopa is now 3-0, I believe, with Papago going to 2-1 on the season, and the Gila River Hawks will actually end up playing Papago next week, so that sets up a really nice matchup. But let's talk about that game a little bit. The 31-7 win for Maricopa over Papago.
Yeah, so Jet Rufus had 11 completions with 4 for 4 pats, which you want to describe what that is?
Yeah, so Jet Rufus was one of our 2 players of the game.
Yes,
our kicker, Cesar Rodriguez, he ended up going 4 for 4 on his extra point attempts.
Yeah.
Point after try, that's what the pad is. He ended up going 4 for 4 for his PATs, and then he hit his 1 field goal of the game, helping his team get to that 31-7 advantage. And then Jet Rufus, with the strong defensive play, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so he had 4 sacks, and out of those 3 sacks, that was in the first half, so he had a really strong first half. He went out firing on all cylinders. And it was still like a very close game at that point in the first half. And then in the second half, he had just 1 more sack, which is when he rotated with the second team guys, just to get them, out on the field while the Mustangs were ahead. So give the other, players a chance at, hitting the field.
Right.
But he's been a really good player so far for the Maricopa Mustangs. And he comes out of, if I'm correct, Oregon.
Yeah, so he went to Sandra Day O'Connor High School, I believe,
Yeah.
O'Connor High School. And he kind of was shadowed by a defensive end there who's actually playing now at Oregon State.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. There's the
yes,
Oregon
yes.
connection.
Yeah.
So this has kind of been his coming out party with Maricopa. He's been able to get that key playing time that he needs to really show how good he
Show
can
what
be.
he's got, yeah.
And he was able to do that in that first half, getting 3 of his 4 sacks. And then, as you said, as the game kind of got out of hand, letting the second stringers get some action, and he only had 1 sack in that second half.
Yeah, and I guess he's had a sack in every game that he's played so far. So
Yeah.
he's done a really good job just being a strong defensive player and just keeping his eye on that quarterback and making sure that he's not able to make any big plays.
Right, which a sack in every game, that's pretty
That's
impressive.
impressive, yeah.
Seeing as how we're talking about 4 sacks in 1 game, that's even better.
Yeah.
So Jet Rufus has obviously had a really strong season to start it off for Maricopa. And now talking about next week, as Papago just suffered their first loss, and now they'll go up against the Gila River Hawks,
Yeah.
who just got their first win of the season. It creates an interesting matchup.
It does, truly. The Papago Pumas have been a really strong team, and despite their loss, they're going to go out, just with the strong game that they know how to play against the Gila River Hawks. And the Gila River Hawks are coming off of a win, especially coming off of their bye week, the week before. So both teams are going to be fired up, and both teams are going to be hungry for that win.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about the Hawks coming off their bye week, getting this first win of the season, and we could talk to Coach Kane a lot of times by now. We talked to him pregame, postgame, talked to him a lot Saturday night, and then talked to him today. And a big emphasis for him the entire time was team chemistry, trying to build that team chemistry up. And obviously, getting that win, that's got to be a big boost for the team. I'm sure they'll be able to spend more time together this week, practicing, getting to know each other more. And I'm sure that's got to be a big confidence boost going into this game against a team like Papago, who the Pumas are 2-1. They're a tougher test probably for the Hawks. So it should be an interesting game Saturday night. And I'm sure both teams will be hungry to get in that win column once again.
Yeah, for sure. It'll definitely be an exciting weekend for junior college football. And make sure you tune in to the Varsity Sports Show for coverage on those games. Thank you so much for tuning in to the HJCAC Junior College show at the Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. I'm Olivia Prickett alongside Doug Santo, and we really appreciate you tuning in. Have a good rest of your night.
Go Varsity. Come back next week.